Well, we're back again with yet another No Fluff analysis, and this time we're going to be looking at the Cursed Connections Part 1 Summon Showcase, running from the 31st of December until the 7th of January 2021 UTC. Let's get straight to it with the first adventurer, the 5-star Flame Wand, Seimei, the leader of the Ox Clan. Seimei has a slightly complex kit, so let's look at his first ability first. Master of Shikigami. Seimei has a Shikigami gauge and a unique force strike that fills this gauge. This gauge is consumed by Seimei's first skill. The force strike deals 77% damage per hit, has 1.5 times overdrive modifier, charges 150 SP per hit, charges the Shikigami gauge by 20 points per hit to a maximum of 100, and fires every half a second. Phew. Seimei's first skill is on Myoji Incantation, summoning a Flame Shikigami for 40 seconds. The Shikigami deals 162% damage every 1.01 seconds, restoring 100 SP but depleting the Shikigami gauge by 6 points. After scoring 15 hits, the Shikigami levels up, resetting its 40-second timer, tripling its damage to 486%, restoring 200 SP per hit, and having a 35% chance to debuff defense by 10% for 10 seconds. The defense debuff does not stack, and the Shikigami's hits are not counted as skill damage, dragon damage, standard attack damage, or force strike damage, though they can critical hit. If on Myoji Incantation is cast while a Shikigami is active, it grants Seimei a shield for 20% of his maximum hit points. Seimei's second skill is on Myodo Exorcism. It can only be used while a Shikigami is active and consumes the Shikigami, dealing 1500% damage, reducing the enemy's defense by 10% for 20 seconds, and inflicting Scorch Rend with a 110% chance. If the Shikigami is level 2, this deals 2500% damage instead, and dispels a buff. The defense reduction does not stack. This skill is also shareable for 6 skill share points, and when used in this way deals 2500% damage, reduces defense by 10% for 20 seconds, inflicts Scorch Rend, and dispels a buff. Seimei's co-ability grants 15% Overdrive Punisher and 10% Gauge Accelerator, the same as Mega Man. His Chain co-ability grants Flame Units combo equals buff skill time, granting plus 15% buff skill time at 10 combo or above. Seimei's second ability is Stun Resist, and his final ability is Shikigami Vivifier, filling the Shikigami gauge by 50% every time the Dragon gauge fills by 10%. Overall, Seimei seems to be mostly useful for his co-ability as well as the first Flame Chain co-ability for buff skill time. While novel, his kit lacks cohesion. Optimal rotations will typically sacrifice the Shikigami with an S2 as soon as the Shikigami reaches level 2, preventing you from benefiting much from the tripled damage of the enhanced Shikigami. Not to mention, the Shikigami damage doesn't increase as you level up the skill, despite damage mods existing in the game files for level 2 and level 3 for on-Myoji Incantation, which is also a pattern that we see with Gala Laxi. However, Gala Laxi seems to do fine damage-wise despite this. I'm not sure this can be said for Seimei. Another small thing to note is the Shikigami's interaction with overdamage. Since overdamage grants extra hits, the Shikigami will only need 8 hits to reach level 2 instead of 15 if the overdamage buff is active. Seimei's skill share, however, brings a lot of utility to a single skill slot. High damage mods, a unique affliction, dispel, and a defense debuff. This could have some decent applications, competing with formal Joachim for the most utility in a single skill share. All in all, I don't think Seimei brings particularly groundbreaking damage. Consider pulling for him if you need the co-ability, as it's an upgrade over other DPS co-abilities with Karina Cheese strategies, or if you particularly want the buff skill time chain co-ability, or if you just like limited characters like me, or pretty male characters. You know the drill, I'm not your boss. Next up we have the 5-star Flame Dragon Gozu Tenno, the hard-faced softie. His skill is Infernal Charge, dealing 2500% damage to enemies in a line and reducing their flame resistance by 10% for the remainder of the quest. Gozu Tenno's first ability grants flame units 70% strength. His second ability is Smoldering Spirit. When flame units use a force strike for 3 or more seconds, which includes charge and attack time, this adds 30% to the modifier applied to damage against wind enemies for 30 seconds. Again, this simplifies to plus 20% damage. This buff doesn't stack and has an activation cooldown of 15 seconds. Gozu Tenno seems to be the result from fusing Midgardsormr Zero with a Gala reborn dragon, with a slight twist in how the additional damage modifier is gained. With high damage mods of 800% on his dragon attacks, hitting twice in his final attack in the chain, Gozu brings high dragon form damage as well, though it is a bit slow to work through his chain. In terms of aura, Gozu Tenno actually slightly wins out against Konohana Sakuya so long as you can activate the extra damage against wind. It's somewhat clunky though. Gozu Tenno needing 3 seconds to activate the aura means that short fights like the time attack event we just had will suffer from the extra 3 seconds. For characters such as Seimei, Gala Leonidas, and Monster Hunter Berserker, who will typically be holding their 4 strikes anyway, this is less of an issue. For longer fights though, Gozu Tenno brings just a tiny bit more damage. Against Mars though, I feel that Mars' skill prep ability simply adds more damage over the course of a fight, though having a single Gozu Tenno in the team will work wonders. Overall, I don't think Gozu Tenno is a priority pick if you already have Konohana Sakuya or Mars, and he's also right up on the Cursed Connections Part 2 showcase. If you're going to be aiming for Gozu Tenno, consider whether you want Seimei or Yoshitsune before you start pulling. In terms of Wyrmprints, we have a limited Wyrmprint added with the event, the 5-star print, the Cutie Competition, granting 25% Scorch Rent Punisher and Staff's Boon. The Staff's Boon is a bit odd, but sure, 25% Scorch Rent Punisher, a decent pick for both Seimei and Gala Leonidas, and it's likely worth using over Burning Punisher in solo teams due to inherently better uptime. The 4-star event print is Amaterasu Ablation, granting flame units 25% buff skill time. This is decent if you really want to only use one Wyrmprint slot for buff skill time, but it falls slightly behind the typical From Whence He Comes and Bellathorna combination due to a lack of Staff's Boon. Even if it did have Staff's Boon, however, it would still fall behind From Whence He Comes due to slightly lower base stats. You'll get this from the event anyhow, so I guess it's a budget alternative for flame buffers. As for the banner as a whole, Seimei's novel but not groundbreaking, and Gozu Tenno is the slightest upgrade over Konohana Sakuya if you can work with the 4-strike requirement. Pull for Seimei if you desperately want the co-ability for enhanced Karina Cheese over other standard co-abilities, or for the chain co-ability if you happen to really like playing flame buffers. As always, thank you very much for watching until the end. I'm going to slot the Kuzunoha review into Yoshitsune's banner since I'd rather not have to rush to record footage for her. So until then, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you next year.